Don't scroll. Don't blink. Don't move your thumb 1 inch. Because if you walk away in the next 10 seconds, you might step right past the very thing heaven just scheduled to hit your life. My beloved child, I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this to protect you. Something is moving toward you right now that the old system can't explain. Something so powerful, so sudden, so outside the normal timeline that even the angels had to get clearance before they could release it. And here's what you need to understand. What's coming for you is technically illegal in the spirit realm. Not criminal, not evil, but not permitted under the old rules. It's going to look like it skipped steps, like it ignored protocol, like it broke through barriers that were supposed to hold you back for years. Stay with me. Don't skip. I know you're tired. I know you've heard promises before, but this is different. This is what they call a jurisdiction change. God is about to override the natural order of things just to get something into your hands. And the moment you understand why it had to look illegal, you'll stop blaming yourself for the delay. You'll stop thinking you missed your chance. You'll realize heaven was building a case, not against you, for you. And now, the verdict is in. Don't move. Not yet. Because what I'm about to show you in the next few minutes will explain why your breakthrough couldn't come the normal way. Why it had to be fast-tracked. Why it had to bypass every gatekeeper, every critic, every voice that said you didn't qualify. This isn't random, my child. This is divine intervention at the highest level, and it starts now. Stay with me to the end. I know why you're here, and I know what you won't say out loud. You've been waking up tired, even after sleep, like something's draining you in the night, something you can't name, can't fight, can't shake off. My beloved child, you've been carrying grief so quietly that people stopped checking on you the way they used to. They think you're fine. They think you're strong. And you are. But strength doesn't mean you're not breaking inside. And the money, oh, the money. It's not even about luxury anymore, is it? It's prescriptions, rent, groceries, car repairs that come out of nowhere and wipe out what little margin you had left. You're not asking for a mansion. You're asking for breathing room. You don't want pity, my child. You want peace. You've learned how to smile in public and still feel completely empty when you close the door behind you. You've been strong for so long you forgot what it felt like to be held, to be seen, to be known. And here's the part that cuts the deepest. You prayed. You prayed hard. You prayed honest. And it felt like the ceiling stayed shut, like your words hit the roof and fell back down on your head. You started wondering, did I miss God? Did God miss me? Am I too late? Too broken? Too forgotten? Listen to me very carefully. If you feel a pressure in your chest right now, a sudden quiet in the room, warmth spreading through your hands, don't be afraid. That's not fear. That's recognition. Your spirit knows what your mind is still catching up to. You weren't abandoned, my child. You were protected. Hold on. Because your suffering wasn't proof that you were rejected. It was proof that you were in a process, a legal process. Heaven wasn't ignoring your case. Heaven was building your case. Every tear you cried in secret, recorded. Every betrayal you survived in silence, documented. Every night you held yourself together when you wanted to fall apart, witnessed. And now, the courtroom in heaven has reached a verdict. Not against you, for you. You weren't forgotten. You were being prepared for something the old system couldn't handle. Something so big, so sudden, so outside the normal timeline, that God had to change the jurisdiction just to get it into your hands. And that's why it had to take this long. That's why it had to hurt this much. Because what's coming isn't a band-aid. It's a complete reversal. And reversals don't happen under normal rules. They happen when heaven steps in and says, enough. Override the delay. Fast-track the blessing. Bypass every voice that said they didn't qualify. My beloved, you didn't miss your moment. You were being positioned for a moment that couldn't come any other way. Stay with me, because I'm about to show you why it had to look illegal. Let me tell you why it had to look like this. Why the door didn't open when you knocked. Why the blessing didn't come when you prayed. Why it felt like heaven went silent right when you needed it most. My beloved child, down here, people judge by paperwork, by timing, by credit scores, resumes, age, connections. They look at what you've got and decide what you deserve. But heaven doesn't move by your social proof. Heaven moves by covenant. And here's what they don't tell you: the delay wasn't denial. It was evidence gathering. Every tear you cried in secret, every night you held it together when you wanted to fall apart, every moment you chose faith when logic said give up, heaven was recording it, not to shame you, to build your case. Because there are two courts operating in this world, my child: the court of man and the court of heaven. And they don't always agree. Man's court saw your setbacks and called them failure. Heaven's court saw your setbacks and called them testimony. Man's court saw your mistakes and built a case against you. Heaven's court saw your mistakes and called them training. Listen to me closely. Some of what you called your worst moments, God called preparation. The enemy used your past like a case file, trying to disqualify you. But heaven used it like evidence of endurance. And now, the verdict is in. You want to know why you've been attacked so hard? Why the resistance has been so heavy? Why it felt like everything that could go wrong did go wrong? Because if you ever fully healed, fully stabilized, fully stepped into what God deposited in you, your life would become a lighthouse. Your story would set people free. Your breakthrough would break generational chains. So the attack was never about your weakness, my child. It was about your future weight. They weren't trying to stop who you were. They were trying to stop who you're becoming. But here's what the enemy didn't count on. Heaven has a prophecy about acceleration. It says the day is coming when the harvest catches up to the planter. When the breakthrough runs so fast, it overtakes the years you thought were wasted. You're going to look up one morning and realize the blessing isn't just coming, it's already here. It skipped the line. It bypassed the gatekeepers. It ignored every voice that said you had to wait longer, work harder, prove more. And that's why it looks illegal. Because heaven just overruled the natural order. Not to show off, to show you that you were never forgotten, that every closed door was divine protection, that every no was positioning. And now we're at the part where heaven doesn't just comfort you, heaven rules. Stay with me, my child, because what comes next is the part they tried to keep from you. I see heaven standing up, not to argue your case, to announce the verdict. My beloved child, the courtroom just shifted. The judge just leaned forward. And what I'm about to tell you is going to sound too good to be true, but it's written in blood-red ink across the books of heaven. Case moved. Jurisdiction changed. Listen to me carefully. What was stolen from you, your time, your peace, your money, your reputation, your strength? Heaven calls it theft. And when theft is exposed in the courts of God, there is restoration. Proverbs 6:31 says, when a thief is caught, he must repay sevenfold. Not equal, sevenfold. That means what you lost in your 50s comes back in your 60s with interest. What they took when you were weak comes back when you're walking in authority. And here's the part that's going to set you free, my child. They don't have to admit it. They don't have to apologize. God can restore you without their permission. You don't need their signature. You don't need them to confess. Heaven already has the evidence. Now let me tell you what's been coming against you, because I know you've felt it. Isaiah 54:17 says, no weapon formed against you will prosper. But let's be honest about what those weapons look like in real life. Paperwork delays that make no sense. Medical anxiety that wakes you up at 3 a.m. Family members who manipulate you with guilt. Financial ambushes, bills, fees, surprise expenses right when you're getting ahead. Shame phone calls from people who should be cheering for you. And that quiet lie that whispers, you're too old, you missed it. Those are weapons, my child, and not one of them will stand. But here's where it gets intense. The moment heaven moves your case, the old system panics, and it sends 5 final attacks to stop the transfer. Listen close, because you need to recognize them. First, the imposter voice. Who do you think you are? It'll hit you right when you start to believe again. Second, sudden chaos. Your car breaks down, a bill appears, your body flares up, drama erupts out of nowhere. Third, the Judas kiss. Somebody close to you discourages you for your own good. They'll say, I'm just being realistic, but they're carrying a spirit of delay. Fourth, the dream snatcher. 3 a.m. Dread, panic with no name. Insomnia that steals your rest. Fifth, the comparison trap. You scroll, and suddenly everyone else's life looks better than yours. Beloved, if you're experiencing any of this right now, that's not proof you're losing. That's proof the transfer is close. The old system only panics when heaven has already ruled. The enemy doesn't fight for territory he's already won. He fights because he knows the door just opened. And my child, I need you to hear this. The weapons are loud, but the verdict is final. God is not waiting for the chaos to calm down before he blesses you. He's blessing you through the chaos. He's moving you during the attack, because what's coming for you is so illegal in the spirit realm that it can't wait for permission. It can't wait for things to make sense. It's a jurisdiction change, and jurisdiction doesn't ask. It overrides. Stay with me. Don't move, because what I'm about to show you next is how to cooperate with what heaven just released. Listen to me carefully, my child. What's about to happen in your life is going to look unfair. And I need you to understand something. It's supposed to look that way. Because when God decides to restore what was stolen, he doesn't follow the rules that held you down in the first place. He breaks them. A door is going to open that shouldn't open. Not based on your resume. Not based on your age. Not based on how long you've been waiting. It just opens. A call comes back after months of silence. A bill that was drowning you suddenly resolved. A job offer, a contract, a client you thought was gone, a pension issue that's been stuck for years. It moves fast, faster than normal. And people around you won't understand it. They'll say, "How did that happen?" You won't even have an answer, because this isn't about what you did. This is about what heaven decided. Your medical report is going to shift, beloved. That thing they said wouldn't change, it changes. Peace returns to your body. Strength returns to your bones. Not because you fought harder, because God said, enough. And here's what I need you to hear. God doesn't just give you a new thing. He gives you a healed memory. He doesn't erase the love you had. He redeems the pain you carried. Joel 2:25 says, I will restore to you the years the locusts have eaten. Not replace. Restore. That means the grief you've been holding doesn't get thrown away, it gets transformed. The tears you cried in secret become the seeds of something beautiful. Now, some people will come back into your life. Some won't. And that's okay, because you're not going to be begging for crumbs anymore. You're going to have clarity. And clarity, my child, is a miracle all by itself. You'll know who belongs. You'll know who doesn't. And you won't feel guilty about it. You won't feel weak. You'll feel free. Because this new chapter isn't about convincing people of your worth. It's about you finally believing it yourself. You're not entering a lucky season. You're entering a ruled season. A season where heaven has jurisdiction. Where your name is written at the top of the list. Where favor doesn't ask permission, it just shows up. And when it does, don't apologize for it. Don't shrink. Don't explain. Just receive. Because this isn't charity, beloved. This is justice. This is God saying, I saw what they did. I saw what you survived. And now I'm going to show you what I can do when I decide to move on your behalf. The blessing that's coming doesn't make sense on paper. It won't fit the formula. It won't follow the timeline. And that's exactly how you'll know it's from Him. Stay with me, because what I'm about to show you next is how to prepare your hands to hold what's coming. Not with fear, not with doubt, but with the quiet confidence of someone who knows their season just changed. Now listen carefully, my beloved child, because what I'm about to tell you is going to sound strange at first, but it's the key to everything. For the next 48 hours, stop announcing. Stop explaining yourself to people who don't carry your destiny. Stop defending what God already approved. The Bible says there's a time to speak and a time to be silent. This is your time to be silent. Ecclesiastes 3:7. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 5:13. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. You've been talking too much, beloved. Talking to people who can't hear you. Explaining miracles to minds that only believe in math. and every word you spoke drained power from what's coming. So, here's what you do. You pray more than you speak. You watch more than you react. You move in silence, while heaven moves the pieces. This is what I call the silence algorithm. It's how God protects classified blessings. Now, let me give you something practical. Something you can do tonight. Before you go to sleep, take 2 minutes. Just 2. Put your hand on your chest, take a slow breath, and say out loud, Lord, guard my mind while I sleep. That's it. No long prayer, no perfect words, just that. And here's the second thing. No more doom scrolling before bed. I know you do it. I know you pick up that phone and let the world's chaos flood your spirit right before you close your eyes, and then you wonder why you can't rest. Stop feeding your mind poison before you ask God to heal it. Put the phone down. Let silence be the last thing you hear. Now about the people around you. You need a boundary line. Say it with me. I'm not available for chaos conversations. You don't owe everyone an explanation. You don't owe toxic people your peace. If someone calls you just to complain, just to criticize, just to pull you back into old drama, you have permission to say no. Not with anger, not with bitterness, just with clarity. I love you, but I'm not available for that right now. And beloved, I know money is heavy on your mind. I know the bills feel like they're screaming. So tomorrow, just 10 minutes, I want you to do this. Get one piece of paper. Write 3 things. What I must pay this week. What I can pause. One phone call I've been avoiding. Not panic budgeting. Peace budgeting. You're not trying to fix everything. You're trying to see clearly. And when you see clearly, God can move clearly. Now, here's your discernment test. Write this down. If it steals your peace, it's not your door. If it requires you to betray your dignity, it's counterfeit. God will never ask you to compromise yourself to receive His blessing. Never. So stop chasing doors that drain you. Stop begging people who don't see you. Stop forcing what God said will flow. This is stealth season, my child. You move quietly. You build in secret. You let God do the announcing. And then when the time is right, the fruit will be public. The blessing will be undeniable. The breakthrough will speak for itself. But right now you rest. You protect your peace. You steward what's already in your hands. And you trust that what's illegal in the spirit realm is already cleared for takeoff. Stay with me. We're almost there. My beloved child, listen to me very carefully now. The next sign won't come like thunder. It won't come like fire from the sky. It'll come as a shift. A phone call you weren't expecting. A letter in the mail that changes everything. A meeting that feels like destiny walked into the room. An open door you thought was sealed forever. And here's what the enemy is counting on, that you'll be so tired, so numb, so used to disappointment that you'll miss it when it finally arrives. He's going to send one last distraction. One final voice telling you it's too good to be true. One more delay that looks just big enough to make you give up right before the breakthrough. But you didn't come this far to turn back now. You didn't survive what you survived just to walk away from what heaven is handing you. So I'm praying over you right now, and I want you to feel this. Father, move them into the higher court. Cancel every accusation. Silence every lie spoken against them. Release the restitution they've been owed. Guard their sleep tonight. Restore their strength in the morning. Open the door no man can shut, and let them walk through it with their head held high. In Jesus' name. Now, my child, I need you to do something. Not for me, for yourself, for your future, for the version of you that's about to step into the room. Go down to the comments right now and type 3 words. I receive. Don't think about it. Don't question it. Just type it. Because when you declare it, you're not just leaving a comment, you're signing the spiritual paperwork. You're telling heaven, I'm ready. I'm aligned. I'm not backing down. And if you felt something shift in your spirit while you were listening to this, then subscribe to this channel, because we're not just making videos here. We're building a shelter, a place where people who've been carrying too much alone can finally breathe, a place where your faith gets fed, not just tested. And here's one more thing. I want you to send this to one person, just one, someone who's been fighting quietly, Someone who looks fine on the outside, but you know they're barely holding on. Because when you share this, you're not just passing along information, you're becoming a messenger. You're delivering hope to someone who's forgotten what it feels like. And that act of obedience, that unlocks something in your own life you didn't even know was waiting. Now listen to me one last time. Don't you dare go back to normal after this. Don't you dare shrink back into the old routine, the old doubts, the old fear. Because normal is over. Your case has been moved. Your file has been updated. And what's coming for you is so far outside the system that even heaven had to rewrite the rules. So stand up, lift your head, wipe your eyes, and get ready. Because illegal or not, it's already on the way.